can't go around, and especially in this complex world we're living in today, thinking you have all the answers. Because I don't care how smart you are, how clever you are, how long you've been in your role as chair, CEO, whatever. It's moving too fast. These things are coming at us at a rapid rate of knots from different avenues of approach. Nobody has the capacity and capability anymore to deal with this alone. And if you think you do, then that's the biggest mistake you're going to make, is believing that, especially without validating those assumptions. By all means, create the plan yourself, but ask for challenge, demand challenge. The CEOs we work with are the guys and gals who are out there going, I want you to challenge me. Here's my thinking. Here's my thoughts. I don't have the answers. I know you can help me. What are you going to do? Help me challenge this plan, this strategy. And if you don't do that in this complex world we're in, then again, cliff approaching.
And it reminds me of one of my favorite stories that I learned when I was at the U.S. Army's Red Team Leader School at Fort Leavenworth back in 2015. And again, it's a military story, but it could be just as easily a story about a CEO. One of my instructors said that he had a friend who was a 3-star general who was promoted to 4-star general. And I may have told this story before, but I'm going to tell it again. And in the U.S. Army, a 4-star general is the highest ranking officer, at least today, the highest position you can go to. And when you get promoted in the military, as you know, Marcus, you have a pinning on ceremony. And it's usually a more senior officer pins on your new rank, but because there is no higher rank than 4-star, another 4-star general pinned on his 4-star. And the guy said that at his pinning on ceremony, as one of his peers pinned on his 4th star, he pulled him close and whispered into his ear, "Congratulations. No one's ever going to tell you the truth again."
That's so true.
It is so true. Yeah. And that's true when you get promoted from EVP to CEO. Yep. It's true when, it's true in any organization. And yet that's exactly what you need, is you need people to tell you the truth. And otherwise you end up, as he says, like Putin, who simply is believing his own propaganda and has no one who's willing to challenge his overly optimistic assumptions.
Yeah. And this is so true. And even if, people tell you what they think you want to hear, even if you're not that kind of person, even if you want the facts, they just won't do that. And I had a similar story where I went into an organization where they had a new C-suite member come in. And, I coached with him, spoke to him, and he's a really genuine individual who was very open and transparent, wanted his team to engage. And he brought me, he said, "Marcus, they're just not. I'm asking them to do this," but he said they're almost just like clamming up. And when I went and spoke to the team, they'd been so much abuse, if you will, previously from their previous executives every time they had spoken up. So it was the old Star Wars thing. This new guy came in and they were like, "It's a trap. He's trying to lure us in to then abuse us once more." And it took a few weeks of real, almost bonding, real team level people bonding and relationship building between each other and the executives to surface this, that, you can't go on behaving this way. It's not effective. The boss at the top wants to be challenged. It's not a trap. He's not trying to lure you into a false sense of, believing what's going on here. He physically wants you to help him because he doesn't have the answers. And having done that previously, they'd suffered for it. Again, life is easiest when you don't challenge. But this new guy realized that we can't do that anymore. And the business was suffering for it. So it's a conundrum. And it's not always...
it is a conundrum, but it's easy. It's an easy conundrum to overcome. Easily. One of the things, as that we do... Yeah. Is we have a little game that we play with a lot of our clients called Lies We Tell Ourselves. And there's a whole format to it, but we get people at the beginning of a workshop with the leader in the room, with the CEO, the 4-star general, whoever it is in the room, with them being the ones saying, "I want to do this." Mm-hmm. Tell us, and it's more formal than this, but basically tell us, what are the lies we tell ourselves as an organization? I have never been in a situation where once that has happened, people then don't start sharing all sorts of stuff with the leader of the organization because they've been given permission.
That's it.
And they've seen that the leader of the organization wants to hear the truth. And that's transformational. And you've seen it. Instant. It's just like a chemical catalyst. Like, when you're in high school chemistry and, you drop something in and it changes the color of the entire liquid. Yeah. That's what it's like. It changes the organization that quick because now people have permission to speak up.
Yeah, I mean, one of our recent clients said, didn't they? They said they'd gone baback and they'd infected. They said, no pun intended with COVID. They said, but we are infecting our colleagues at work with this behaviour because, as you said, you drop it in there and it quickly permeates. Because once you see this, once you get it out there, you can't put the lid back on it because people are going to go, hey, what about that thing we mentioned last week that was really big that we're now going to ignore? You can't ignore it. And because you've all surfaced it collectively, it's not me coming up to you as a boss and going, hey, boss, I think this is a problem. And then you go, right, Marcus, be quiet, keep that to yourself and don't mention it. Otherwise, the bonus is gone. The way these tools work, nobody knows who surfaced it. It all surfaces collectively and it's visible there in black and white or a yellow post-it, whatever. And nobody can go, put that back away now. We can't unsee it. And once you've done that, you have to take action. And it's a nice thing
it's
to
like do. Taking the red pill in the Matrix.
You know I love a red pill.
So I'm not going to go there. That could be interpreted many different ways.
Not the blue pill. I'm not that
old.
Thank you for tuning in to Red Team TV, sponsored by Red Team Thinking. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and notification icon below so you don't miss the next idea-filled episode. If you prefer to listen on the go, subscribe to Bryce and Marcus's podcast, The Thinking Leader, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you like to listen. And don't forget to visit redteamthinking.com to learn more about Red Team Thinking work and Marcus and Bryce's upcoming online courses. While you're there, take our free quiz to find out how you rate as a Red Team thinker and if your organisation has a Red Team culture. Because who thinks wins.